Greetings, Kappa Feds. This is MWF lead analyst Sonny Go coming to you with the second episode of MWF Match Review, where we take a look at MWF's greatest hits in detail. Today, we shall take a look at Khayl Sison versus Jomar Liwanag from MWF 8 Halalan Special, which took place on May 18, 2019 at Venice Grand Canal in McKinley Hill, Taguig. Now, I remember getting there and it was pretty hard for me, and getting home was even worse. During this event, the battle lines were being drawn between different factions, and the Bahay ng Liwanag was establishing itself as a major threat, with Jomar as their ace. Meanwhile, Fabio Makisig and his protege and partner Khayl Sison were causing a stir for those who thought of themselves as superior to the rest of MWF. So, it was natural for these two different teams to clash, a quasi-religious organization versus a couple of outcasts. Now, let's look at the tail of the tape, and it's pretty obvious who's the bigger one here. Jomar Liwanag, standing 5'8", weighing in this night at 171 pounds. Khayl Sison, 5'4", and weighing in at around 125. Now, I put an asterisk there because I don't remember Kyl's exact stats here. Come on, it's been a while. The clash of styles between these two, Jomar Liwanag is a powerhouse. Meanwhile, Khayl Sison is a submission grappler with special moves, and interesting tactics. Now, let's get to the match.
Alam nyo, itong hawak ko.
He is taking something out of the book.
Ang liwanag, bago ko niyakap ang liwanag. Natuto muna akong yumakap sa dilim.
Oh, wait a minute. That's a blindfold.
Khayl Sison. Dapat mong isuot muna ito upang tuluyan mong yakapin ang liwanag.
Oh. Okay, so wait a minute. Is he challenging him to a blindfold match? Oh, we're going to have ourselves a blindfolded wrestling match here. This is going to be interesting. And they're going to start off with the blindfolds on. I think this is going to give Jomar an advantage. He's more used to this. Meanwhile, Khayl is pretty much blind. And we're going to start things off now as Jomar takes off his shirt. And the referee signals the start of this match. Oh, and Khayl charged right into that corner. And Jomar is signaling the crowd to silence for a bit. Here it is. Oh, blocked it. And, elbow strike right to the jaw. Precise, despite the blindfold. Khayl is just swinging midair. Oh, with back fist too. Oh, blocked it again. Oh, and an open hand strike right to the side of the cheek. Oh, knee strike to the gut. Jomar does have the advantage. He's pretty much used to this type of fighting. After all, he debuted in MWF with a blindfold on. It's like a blind kung fu master. Ooh, and that scoop slam. Slamming Khyl's spine right onto the board. Oh, and a drop kick. Wow. He knew exactly where he was. And Khayl has had enough with the blindfold. Enough with the shenanigans. Fabio can just shrug his shoulder. Oh, came in with a jumping knee strike. A front face lock. Jomar still has the blindfold on. And we got ourselves a grappling exchange. Oh, countered into a hammer lock. Finds the back door, gets out of it. Oh, back door again. But Khayl Sison is not wearing the blindfold. And Jomar is doing all of this blindfolded, which is very impressive. And then again, in grappling, all he had to do is just feel his way around, but Khayl with the back take. Oh, and around the world. And stomps him in the back of the head. And takes off that blindfold as well. That's it. Oh, and Jomar realized what happened. Khayl took off his blindfold. Okay, fine. Okay. Can't get mad at that. I did that to myself. You know what? Enough of this. Let's just have a fair and square wrestling match. And they lock up into a headlock by Jomar. He's just going to squeeze it and make Khayl react. And he pushes him off the ropes. Oh, big shoulder block. Jomar has the obvious power advantage. Meanwhile, Khayl is pretty agile. Oh, into a jumping knee strike. Right to the chest of Jomar. Taking the wind out of his sails. What is he doing here? Oh, wrist takedown into full mount into... Was that even necessary? Okay, now into a double wrist lock. Kimura. Oh, the crowd did not like that. Ugh. Oh, stomping right on the elbow. Oh, right on the bicep. It's gonna soften up that arm. Likely for his signature armbar and the... Ugh. I don't know if the crowd liked it or not with that chant. Getting mixed signals here. Oh, Lutaz press into full mount. The ground and pound from the top. Oh, gets the arm into the armbar. Kyl's favorite submission, the armbar. Oh, kind of a bicep slicer too, and Jomar reaching for the bottom rope and gets his foot on it. Kyl's foot wraps are coming undone. Well, he's not even paying mind to it. Oh, charged in. Oh, spine buster. Khayl ran into that one. Okay, now vertical suplex with authority into a cover. Only a 2. Shoulder up by Khayl. And now elbows to the side of the head. Oh, right hand. And another right hand. Jomar has to wear Khayl Sison down. Kyl's in trouble here as the match drags on. Jomar is going to get the advantage. Ooh! Beautiful Northern Light suplex. Only a 2. But the longer this match goes on, it's going to be a lot harder for Khayl to come back. Oh, swing out. Air raid crash. And a 2 again with the shoulder up. But this is going to diminish Khayl. Jomar is starting to wear Khayl down as he gets concussed and fatigued through all of this damage. Oh, jumping knee strike right to the arm. And now he's going to isolate that arm. Khayl Sison with a double stomp right onto the crook of the elbow. And now armbar. But I don't think that's the right arm. Jomar trying to shake it off. Khayl with the heel kicks down onto the body, but oh, wait a minute. Jomar's getting up. Be careful. I think we know what's going to happen here. The only way he knows how, with power. Power bomb. Weak kick out by Khayl. That is the one danger of the armbar. It can be countered into a power bomb. That hurt him. That definitely hurt him. Oh. And he's going for it. He's going for the package pile drivers. Intentional Liwanag. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Khayl squirmed out of it and they bumped into the ref. Oh, the money shot while the referee is down. Khayl Sison now getting something from Fabio. What does he have in his hand? Is he gonna hit him with it? Oh, it's the vape. Oh! Vape missed right into the eye. Now Jomar really is blind. And into the arm bar. Oh, the referee's back up. Fabio got him back up. Jomar has to get out of this one. Can Jomar escape? He's reaching for the bottom rope. Can't get there. Can he reach for it? Oh, and he taps out. Khayl takes the victory from seemingly the jaws of defeat.
Here's your winner by way of tap out, Khayl Sison.
Ooh, and the crowd does not like that, but you can't deny the results. Khayl somehow found a way to win. Now that was a controversial yet exciting finish. Khayl had to overcome Jomar's overwhelming power advantage. Meanwhile, Jomar had to get his hands on Khayl, who was a slick grappler with a ton of tricks. So Khayl had the advantage in his experience with competing against bigger opponents. And a big part of that is knowing the one fact, that whatever the referee does not see doesn't officially happen. That's just their way of doing things, you know, like Fabio and, well, not as much as Fabio, but Khayl definitely, he takes advantage of that. Let's look at the highlights. Here's a blindfolded Jomar countering Khayl, who's also blindfolded, very impressive. And here's another one. Jomar with a knee strike, forearm strikes into a scoop slam. Khayl takes off the blindfold and hits a jumping knee strike. Here's a beautiful grappling exchange. Khayl Sison with a back take, then going around the world before stomping on Jomar's head. Khayl gets a wrist grab takedown into full mount and then, whatever that is, into a double wrist lock, then stomps on the elbow to jack the wrist. Khayl now going off the ropes into a Lutaz press for full mount, then transitions to the armbar attempt. Here's Jomar catching a charging Khayl with a spine buster. And then a vertical suplex. And then a beautiful Northern Light suplex. And then a swing out air raid crash, showing off his repertoire there. Jomar counters an armbar with a desperation powerbomb. Jomar then attempts his Nang Liwanag package piledriver, but they bump into the referee. While the referee was down, Khayl goes for the money shot. And then Khayl spews vape mist into Jomar's eyes. And finally, the armbar that sealed the deal. And now, it's time once again for MWF Match Review Technique of the Week. Brought to you by the number 10. And the letter A. A as in the armbar. There are actually many different types of arm bars, but we are specifically talking about what the Japanese like to call the ude hishigi jujikatame, or the jujikatame for short. Here's the kanji. The submission looks like the character for number 10. It's basically a cross. So translation is back lying perpendicular arm lock. It's also known as the cross arm breaker in pro wrestling, which I think is a slightly better translation. The aim is to hyperextend the elbow with the strength of the whole body. Imagine that the arm is a lever. You hold onto the wrist or hand as far as you can from the fulcrum, which is the elbow, which rests on your hip. Now, most may think that it rests on the crotch from the way it looks, but you know, crushing your soft bits against someone else's elbow isn't exactly the most efficient technique. You then make sure that the crook of the elbow is facing up, like this. The rule of thumb is thumb to foot, like this. Crook of the elbow shows, and that's when you then are able to hyperextend the elbow. You then pull on his hand and wrist while bridging your hips to hyperextend the arm with the force of your entire body. You can then dislocate the elbow, tear the ligaments and the bicep tendon off the radial bone, or even break the humerus or the forearm bones in some cases. There are many ways to set up the arm bar from various positions. You can get it from the top, from the bottom, from the back, and even from standing with a flying arm bar, or even during transition. It's a very versatile submission. It's one of the most studied and developed submissions in all of grappling. And yet, it takes a great amount of skill to pull off consistently. It can also be transitioned to and from other submissions. Some systems now call this classic perpendicular body position the spider web. Now, there are very few ways to defend against an armbar if you ever get put in that position. Early on, you can grab your elbow and pull it away, maybe. You can gable grip to keep the arm from being straightened out, or an S grip if it gets desperate. Of course, the taker cannot do this forever. It's just your arms against the entire body of the giver. Meanwhile, the giver can then pry the hands loose or even strike at it to make the taker let go. and then explode into the armbar. Now you'd think that once the arm gets straightened out, you can get into the armbar right away. But sometimes the hardest part tends to just be before full extension. The two strongest and most stable positions for the arm is full flexion of the bicep right here, and just before the elbow locks out. Right around here, just before it actually locks out. And I know this from following another sport, arm wrestling. And yes, I'm using this as an excuse to talk about arm wrestling. I quite like that sport. There is a move used in the highest levels of professional arm wrestling that has become incredibly controversial. It's called the King's Move. Yeah, that's the name, the King's Move. It's a defensive technique that's actually quite complicated, but it has one prominent feature. It's done with an almost straight arm, right here, just before full extension. You basically extend your arm to this point, move your body to a certain angle, and even drop down below the table, and then hold it there and make your opponent expend energy. And when he gets tired, you can then come back up and then eventually pin him. This is a favorite technique of the current World Arm Wrestling League heavyweight champion, Monster Michael Todd. By the way, the really cool thing about the World Arm Wrestling League, their championship is not a belt, not a trophy, but a hammer. That's their championship. It's like Rainbow Six Siege championship. It's pretty cool. Now, the King's Move does two major things. You create a bone lock, number one, because it's actually really strong here. It's your body's way of preventing your elbow from being hyperextended. Unless, of course, you're in an armbar. And also, it shortens the lever. It shortens the lever from all this arm to only around this much. So your opponent has to pin you by doing this, which is, by supinating, forcing you to supinate your arm. And a big part of that is this arm position, almost fully extended before the elbow locks out. But of course, it's your arm against the guy doing the arm bar, his entire body. It takes a while, but before you know it, that's it. You're getting your arm bent backwards. Now, over the years, I've seen quite a lot of armbar attempts where they get to this point, almost full extension, and then they lose it when the opponent escapes or they're unable to complete it. Now, a good example of the latter is George St Pierre versus Dan Hardy. He had him there. He had him right there. The armbar is fully extended, but he couldn't finish the armbar, if I remember correctly, because Hardy's tricep was on his hip, not the elbow. Now, you can still finish it from there. You could really tug on it, but it's not optimal. This gives the taker an opportunity to escape or wait until the giver tires out. Now, there are quite a few escapes, and the simple, most effective way to escape an armbar, the most reliable way, is to turn your body towards your arm, like this, and then be able to grab your arm back. And from there, you either end up in side control or, you just stand back up and get your distance, or there are many ways of escaping it. It's usually really hard once you get to this position, but if the giver makes a mistake, like for instance, not tightening his legs, you're gonna be able to roll back in and then get your arm back. But the main priority of defense is to make sure that you don't get your arm snapped. That is the main priority. Getting a superior position out of the escape is secondary, but it's ideal. Now, if you're the giver, you're giving the armbar, you have two things that let you keep the armbar. First, your grip on the hand and wrist, and second, how you squeeze with your legs. Now, those legs aren't supposed to just lay there and do nothing. They should make it harder for your opponent to escape. And this is where most arm bars fail. Now, some arm bars are able to finish with maybe one of the legs bent down or while the legs are loose, because the giver was able to hyperextend the elbow quickly enough. They get to here really quick. But if the taker is given enough time to respond and they're trained, they should be able to immediately attempt an escape. Now, if one of these two links are weak, the grab on the arm and wrist and the legs, if one of them is weak, the defender is gonna be able to escape. The armbar is the ultimate comeback submission. Time and time again, when someone is being crushed by the jaws of defeat, they somehow grab an arm, bend it back, and win. You can't be mad at it. You know, arm bars take tremendous skill. If you get caught by an armbar, well, it's your fault, really. It's like falling for a yo mama joke. You know, sometimes you're going to get caught. Can't do anything about it. It happens to everyone. That's the kind of comeback potential that Khayl Sison has, and especially with his moral flexibility with the rules. Now, Jomar can justify all he wants that he's still the stronger athlete and the better wrestler, but in the end, he lost to Khayl in this match. That means Khayl was better than him that night. And you know what? In the end, that's all that matters. And that is it for this episode of MWF Match Review. Please like, share, and follow the MWF Facebook page, and subscribe to the MWF YouTube channel for more pro wrestling ng masa. Also, please watch the companion show MWF Balikbakbakan, hosted by Gerald Diola, which is doing very well. In just over 5 minutes, they got the people talking. Maybe I should do something that will make people talk. Well, anyway, until next time, Kappa Feds, stay Tor.